damn.
There you go.
That's the future, boys.
Dude, it can even turn your TV on. You can be just in another room, and if you have to turn the TV off, you just hit the power button on the remote. It turns everything on.
That's honestly
insane.
what I've had to go through because I've lost every single remote.
So the remote's not lost. It just
You just need batteries.
no. I've changed the batteries, Joe. Come on. Obviously, that's the first thing I changed.
You just need new batteries.
I put new batteries in it, and then it turns the thing on, and then it doesn't work.
Probably
after
just
that.
a bad sensor. Just you can buy a new remote for like $20 at Walmart.
You know what's even crazier than that? I
What?
got 2 remotes. There's another remote in that closet.
And they don't work.
Same shit. It'll turn it on and
I just use that then.
But it didn't start doing it until we mounted the camera on the wall.
I got you.
So I wonder if there's like a Bluetooth connection.
There probably is.
Or some.
Yeah, there probably
like
is
that.
something that's connected.
I don't know if that's a thing though.
No, it
makes
would
sense in
not.
my head.
It would not surprise me at all.
Play this. We can't play this sound. Triple H will copyright us. Or Nick.
I'd like to be on that episode where we
Nick
get
Con.
copyrighted.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Hilarious.
That would be great. What's up, boys? How you guys doing, man? All right. So, odd episode, I'd say. You got B-May. It's Father's Day. You know what I'm saying? Happy Father's Day to my man Jamie. You know,
Congratulations.
Appreciate
Happy
it.
Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to Party Mike. Happy Father's Day to Todd, Trevor's dad. They're all hanging out with their dads. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling, watching Monday Night Raws from 1999.
Nothing wrong with that.
Definitely nothing wrong with that.
I'm here with my boys, man. I got Spotlight Scotty Brooks
What's up, big
back
dog?
in the building.
Spotlight.
What's
Then
up,
I got
man?
my boy Jamie. Jamie being here is crazy. And then what's also crazy is this relationship that I really had no idea
Yeah.
about. I mean, I did, but I didn't. But that's just cool, man. Small world, bro.
No,
Like,
it really is. Yeah.
It really is.
how it works. Is that mic stand still falling?
No, it's good.
Oh,
We're chilling.
okay, cool.
Well, it's fallen.
But it can't get up.
Yeah, it definitely can't get up.
It's okay, man. It's working. You're waving now.
Okay, we're good.
We're in here popping. Yeah, bro. Like I said, man, this episode we just gonna talk some shit, man. I ain't really got nothing planned.
We just had some fun.
Just gonna chop it up, have some fun, man. What you been doing?
Man, I'll tell you what I did the other night. I rolled in and I saw KG.
Hell,
Of all
at the
people,
store?
yeah. I rolled into the store, saw KG for a second, man. Hadn't talked to him in years.
So we haven't had a conversation on the camera since the match. You
That's
know,
right, yeah.
Since you buried Frankie Kazarian.
we're not going to say buried. Listen, Frankie was a fierce competitor in the ring. Let's just
Okay,
go ahead and
okay,
say that.
okay.
I
My
mean,
bad,
he
my
took
bad,
me
my
to
bad.
my limits, and I think I took him to his limits too because I don't think he was expecting that.
One of my favorite things about that night was we're sitting there, event's about to start. I got Jamie here, Spence is here, Party Mike's here, Trevor's here. Who else was there? Corey Bird. Corey Bird was there.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden I look, or I get a text message because Party Mike and Trevor and Corey Bird was outside
Right.
doing activities. I get a text message and it says, "A legend's about to walk in the building." And I'm like kind of confused. I'm like, what's he talking about? I'm sitting there and then about 2 minutes and 14 seconds later, in comes KG.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
In
Yeah.
comes KG. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
man.
let's go. I was like, it was so cool seeing him there.
Yeah,
man.
man. KG's had a lot he's of mine,
He-
man. Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's
He
a good. I
sports.
love seeing him there, man.
Yeah,
he had a
supports,
good time.
man. He sports. He's friends with Casey Crawford,
Okay.
former sheriff's deputy, really good friend of my father's, and you know they come to almost him and his brother-in-law come to almost every match I have.
That's awesome, dude.
So
That's awesome.
That was a lot of fun seeing KG there.
I didn't know that, and I seen KG, and I was like, "Oh man, this is great. This is gonna be a great time."
Yeah, man.
And it was, bro.
Oh
It
man,
was-
I
shout
appreciate
out
you
to-
guys.
Shout out to Ring of Fire, man.
Man, Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for the support. It was a lot of fun. I loved your sign. By
Hell
the way,
yeah.
the queen of TNA.
Yeah,
that
that
was
It's
great.
gold.
that was a good.
That was a great
It's
sign,
gold.
man. I
Match was
appreciate it.
great. You know, we ain't got to talk too much about it, but shout out to Frankie, man. He's-
Listen, Frankie is a very much a class act. He's a hell of a competitor. I think in a lot of ways I showed that I can go toe to toe with some of the greatest in the world, and we'll see where that goes from there.
only way is up.
That's right. Sometimes you just scratch and claw. It might take you 10, 15 years, but sooner or later you'll get that break.
So you got me and Jamie in here. You got us inspired, man. We're talking about We're gonna go to the
gonna do
wrestling
it.
school,
We're
man.
gonna
do it.
Like I said, I know my potential. I got 2 bad ankles and 2 bad knees, man.
Right.
I've definitely got some bad ankles.
I'm not saying I have.
Sorry for that. All those years crossing you
Yeah.
up on the court.
It's like I'm not saying I got a world championship run in me, but I would like to just go try it, just because I love it so much, and it's like I think you would earn a different kind of respect for it.
Yeah,
You know, you take a bump. Because when you're talking shit and criticizing things, I've noticed, because like I said, I'm a nerd. I ingest a lot of wrestling content.
Nothing wrong with that.
Bust it open. Every wrestling podcast, Drive Through, Conan's podcast, you know, Jeff Jarrett's, Matt Hardy's.
They're
all
good.
Of them,
Yeah, they're
of
all
them.
good. They're all
Listen
good.
to them all. And they always say, a lot of people talk shit who's never taken a bump.
Yep.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I'm training and kind of taking bumps, I'm not saying I'm going to talk shit, but, you know,
Well, for lack of a better
no
term.
one can at least say that.
Well,
Like, no,
for-
spotlight Scotty Brooks. Power bomb the fuck out of me, you know.
Hopefully it never, ever comes to that. I don't think it ever would. But, you gain an appreciation for it. There was a guy, whenever I worked out at McDowell Fitness a lot, there was a guy came up to me and said, "Oh, I'd like to try it. I'd like to try it. I'd like to try it." So I told him to come to a show. And I put him through the ringer a little bit. And I put him through a simple drill, which was I showed him how to bump. And I said, all right, you're going to take a shoulder tackle. And all you're going to do is drop down, drop down, drop down, drop down, pop up. I'm going to drop down. And you're going to run the ropes across from me. And I taught him how to run the ropes and all that. That guy literally, after running the ropes twice and taking 2 bumps, said, "The hell with this."
Hey,
And he's one of the most in shape guys that I know. And he was like, "You're crazy."
I think it's a lot more mental than it is
Yeah.
physical, man.
Well, okay. So you and I both went through North Carolina Police Academy. Mm-hmm. How many people get in there, getting yelled at, and say
They don't like
this? Yeah, the hell with this, right?
No, they don't like it.
They say that all the time. The hell with this, and then, but how much of it is up here?
It's all up there.
Every bit of it, because if you're in just okay shape, you can pass the standards for the physical part.
I mean, you really ain't even got to be in okay shape as long as you're giving 110%. I mean, and you can do some push-ups.
That's it. That's it.
Then
But I couldn't handle it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
You know, like
well-
I couldn't handle a drill instructor in my face, like da 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 da. You know,
So
I couldn't do that.
But that proves the point.
But if that's the
mental.
hardest part,
but at the end of it, those guys are your best friends.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. It's just I'm also I got a smart ass mouth and a quick temper,
And there's some people in there that do that too, and they make it through.
and it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, look.
Hey,
Have you met Jamie?
I have, you know, it's just like I don't know, man. I've always like, I don't know. It's just like that's kind of my thing. I don't want to be talking down to.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever. You know, if I ain't got to push up, I'll try. You know, if
and that's all they want, really.
if my pec rips off, so be it. Just don't tell me I'm a bitch.
That's all that they want. They're not going to push you out for that, but the state wants you to do 40 of them. If you
Okay.
can't do the 40 of them, then, it is
Right.
what it is.
But here's the other thing too.
Isn't it
So
like
even-
40 in 5 minutes or something like that?
No, you got a whole, course that you have to go through. First part of it, 6 minutes. It's called the North Carolina POPAT.
They
First-
changed it, made it so easy.
Yeah,
The one I went
from
through
what
back
it
in the
used to be, it's definitely 10 times easier. But you got 6 minutes to do X amount of drills, and then you get a 10-minute break, and then you got another part of it that's 3 minutes that you have to do. The 3-minute part of it, honestly, as long as you can do your push-ups, you can walk through every bit of it.
I mean,
Not-
I'd like
not
to
only that,
try
I've
it.
seen people do it.
I'd like to try it just to be
So
able to say I
it used
did
to
it.
be 6 minutes. You had to remember 2 street names. You sat in a car, and they had a 150-pound dummy, because that at the time was the average weight of the average person in America.
Oh, that shit's up to 220 now.
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
be.
So you had to pull. So you had to run 100 yards down, 100 yards back, or 50 yards down, 50 yards back, total of 100 yards.
With the 150?
No.
No.
Then you had to unbuckle the 150-pound person out, drag them 50 feet, 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, run to the stairs, run up and down 3 flights of stairs, so they simulated steps, go through a 50-pound weighted door, 10
Yeah, something
push-ups,
like
10 set or 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, then go through a 50-foot culvert, 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, then run down the 50 yards, run back, grab the person, drag them another 50 feet, and then recite the 2 street names.
Fuck that,
Yeah.
bro. Like, that's just like,
Yeah. But that prepares you more than what they do now.
Yeah,
I could
That
do
prepares
it,
you more
that doesn't
because
sound like so physical, like strenuous. It's just like,
it's mental.
even at the
Yeah.
end, like, why are you gonna ask me the 2 street names?
Well,
bro?
okay, so
Like,
think about if you were
I just chased the motherfucker we needed
Yeah.
through the 2 streets. What does the street
well,
names
or
matter?
think about this. What if you chase the guy down, you get into a fight with him, and then you got to call for backup?
I get it. I
know,
understand the whole.
or
I,
you pull up on a street and you don't know what street you're on, and you start getting shot at. You start calling from backup. Hey, I'm getting shot at, but I don't know where the hell I'm at. So remembering those streets of where you're at.
I get
that's,
it.
That's
I get it. I
the,
get it.
the key thing to that.
I can't. I understand. Like, I see it.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But also, it's 2024, bro. Like,
Oh, they geolocate everything now.
you know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Pull up.
I mean, to an extent.
Yeah.
But your location's not always
Precise.
exactly.
Okay.
I mean, what is
Like, you can ping a phone.
it's within like 100 yards or something, right?
I don't even know if it's that close. Like,
Might even be 300.
you could ping a phone here, and it ping somewhere. Like, it's gonna give you like a 50. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's gonna give you just a little radius. It's not gonna be pinpoint.
Go ahead and tell the people our address too while you're at it, bro. Since we're 50 feet from the street.
We're definitely not 50 feet.
I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not
Geolocated.
If you ever want to visit the No Limit
It's not-
Passengers podcast studios,
That's what I'm saying. It's not within 50 feet, because if it was within 50 feet, it'd be way too precise.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're talking.
Well, that's what I'm saying is Google Maps, the history off of that's way more accurate than pinging a phone.
So where do you think the line's drawn as like privacy, and then like it's helpful to know things?
Me personally,
Like, obviously they listen to everything we do.
I think, if it's a missing person or it's something, I think privacy and all that goes out the window. Me personally, this is just my personal, because if it's your son or daughter or mother, father, brother, sister, you're going to want somebody to do everything they can.
Everything
and
they
you don't
possibly
care,
can,
and
yeah.
you don't care what rules and what laws are broken, especially if there's a time crunch on it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So think about that for a second. I think it's situational.
100%.
100% situational.
Well, a lot of cell phone providers won't even ping a phone unless it's
Well, I know
a court
iPhone
order,
is
right?
like super close.
Yeah.
System,
not even
like,
a court order, but unless they're like, there has to be like extreme endangerment
Right.
involved before they'll even consider pinging the
And
phone.
Apple, you might as well, if you need something from them, you might as well just go ahead and say, fuck it, we're not getting it.
Yeah.
But I guess that is crazy, because like within the Apple ecosystem, that shit's damn near precise. You can find your AirPods. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I got a
But
funny story about that.
I guess no one else can see it. Like, it's within their system, which I don't know, man. It's just like it's a new age problem to deal with.
Yeah,
Well,
it
that's
is.
like even whenever Apple started the whole COVID tracking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was odd. How
Like,
you
it
you
was-
gonna tell?
It was super weird.
Well, Google did it too with Android.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, Google.
I'll tell you
they
why I didn't
both
know
did
that.
that.
Because I don't fuck with Android, Joe.
Yeah,
well-
that is weird.
Why?
Why would you? I mean,
Why? Apple. Listen, everything Apple has, they're 2 to 3 years behind Android.
listen, we on the last
They
episode.
Samsung sued them and won.
On the last episode, it's not out yet, but it's coming out this week. I literally said the iPod Touch was the biggest piece of technology that changed a generation, bro.
Yeah, but at the same time, well, you could say
iPod
that.
Touch, iPhone, because check me out.
Okay.
You had the access. It gave you YouTube, which wasn't even Google at the time. They were separate, but it gave you the YouTube
Yeah.
app stock. It gave you the podcast app stock. It gave you the music app stock. It led you see the charts, the what's hot.
BlackBerry did that also.
But who the fuck was using a BlackBerry on
In
the
2008? In 2008, everybody.
Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry
Let me
that you're
rephrase.
so
No,
young that you didn't have a BlackBerry
No,
curve.
I had a
I tried to
BlackBerry in
get a
the eighth
BlackBerry,
grade.
and my mom
Yeah,
wouldn't let
in
me.
the eighth grade?
Eighth
I was
grade, I
out there
had it.
selling them when you were in the eighth grade.
No. I mean, as far as like, you're right, but it was very like you're on that ball and it's very laggy and slow. The iPod and the iPhone, like
It depended on what you wanted to drop the money for, too. You know, I mean, coming from
true,
that day,
true.
Because I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, the two Apple did change the game. Apple, BlackBerry, and believe it or not, Android with the G1 that came out through T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Those three things changed smartphones forever. They really
it was
honestly
just
did.
the accessibility.
Yeah, because before that you had the flip, you had the touch screen with the flip keyboard. If you had a keyboard back in the day,
Oh, you were
you were the man.
So
Yeah,
That's what I tried to tell my mama. She wouldn't listen.
yeah.
Technology wise,
Back, they had the T9 word with the buzz numbers and all that.
T9. Hey, I was a pro
Girl,
at T9 word.
hey, a girl sends you a fuzzy picture. This camera's got a 2 megapixel. This phone's got a 2 megapixel camera.
Had
on
to
it.
download those things.
Yeah, you had to wait for it to download.
They also had.
I'm sorry,
little,
you might be
no,
too
no,
young to remember this.
Hell no. They also had the little SD card too. So
Yes,
they did.
Oh yeah.
If you had too much space on it, bro, you had to delete
not only
shit.
that, you were sitting there. You was like, okay, I don't talk to this girl no more, so I'm gonna get rid of hers.
And if you had an
but
SD
she's
card-
bad. I want to keep her around.
If you had an SD card, you were also bougie
Yes,
That's true.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
one of those.
because the SD cards were like,
Yeah.
obviously not now, but they were somewhat expensive back then.
Yeah, they were like $100
So,
back
I
in
mean,
the day.
if you had a SD card, you were
Oh, and if you had a thumb drive
chilling.
back in the day,
Yeah.
in like 08, 09,
You
if you
talk
had
about a
thumb
floppy
drive,
disk.
no,
Floppy
a thumb-
disk.
Oh, I'll tell you about a floppy disk.
Oh, yeah,
those
see, we
no,
call
I'm
those
not-
USBs in my time. USB stick,
Oh, I'm
not
sorry.
a thumb drive.
Well,
No,
no.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. I'll show you a floppy disk later, motherfucker.
Nah, man, it was a time though. But
Uh-oh.
you may be right. Oh, this is it. Ain't
Yeah,
it?
this is it right here. Shamrock with the chair shot.
Where's the volume? Let me get some volume.
Oh, wait a minute, you want to be canceled?
Whatever, bro. If they're 20 minutes into this and then we get canceled,
They've dedicated themselves.
they've
There he is. It's the Texas rattlesnake. Oh my god.
I started to say this is Stone Cold coming back.
Ow.
Oh, the chair shots were so great.
Ow.
They were
Yeah, they
so
hurt
much
too.
better back then, bro.
Yeah, because they actually swung a chair and hit you in the fucking head. How real is the chair shot? Very real, especially back then.
Listen to the pop, dude. Shout out to Jay Spence. We was talking about this the other day.
You see the guy with the backwards hat right there that's jacked more than most of the wrestlers?
Oh,
The
yeah.
security guy? That guy was in charge of getting so many of those guys laid back in the day. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Stone Cold, dude.
That's a bad dude right there on the right. Ken Shamrock.
Oh, yeah. So I also went through this wormhole of, I'm watching, I told you about the wrestling, watching from when I was born, 1996 on.
Right.
I also went back and I'm trying to watch every UFC. Mm-hmm. So I'm at like UFC like 72 right now. But
Oh, man, yeah.
I went back and watched, like, I've seen it progress. It was Ken Shamrock and
Hoist Gracie. Yeah.
And Dan Severin and
Chemo was in there.
Chemo was in there. Chemo
Yeah.
was a bad motherfucker. Rico Rodriguez was bad.
Yes.
But I'm thinking of someone with the mustache, bro.
Don Fry.
Don fucking Fry.
Don Fry
bro.
was a motherfucker.
Oh, my
I love
gosh,
Don
he
Fry.
was a cold
Have you seen the
motherfucker,
stuff
bro.
where he's coming back on a podcast here lately where he's like, yeah, fuck these kids. They can't do shit like I used to. He's just got a big
No.
old stogie on his podcast.
haven't
just talk-
seen it, but
dude,
I need
he's
to see
talking
it.
so much shit about everything.
Dude, he was cold, bro. Like, he was just
Yeah,
walk you down.
Mark the
and,
Hammer
like,
Coleman.
Oh, yeah,
my
Mark
God.
Coleman.
Look, let him use
Andre
roids.
Orlovsky, bro.
Yes.
I watched Frank Mir break his arm.
Yes.
When he broke his
Oh,
arm.
oh.
Oh, it was dirty, bro. It was dirty.
I'll tell you, man, honestly, Frank Mir broke two guys' arms. He also broke Nogueira's.
I haven't. No, I did watch that fight. Yeah.
Let's see. You're getting 72. That's close to when Rampage knocks out Chuck Liddell.
So,
Whenever
I'm
they
right
buy
before
Pride,
that.
Bro, that's right around the time they first brought
So
out
I
the
took
UFC
a-
video
That's-
game.
dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. That to me is UFC from like Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture to about 2012, 2013.
Oh, till the Connor. Give me the Connor.
Yeah, and then after Connors, like that was UFC's heyday.
Oh,
that was
bro.
the golden era of UFC and the reason being is nowadays there's too many weight classes. You know, I don't care about 210-pound guys, just like in boxing. Nobody cares about the 110-pound guys that look like Speedy Gonzalez. You know,
I don't necessarily think it's too many weight classes. I think it's too many fights, bro. Like,
well, it's watered
I can't
down.
keep up with the fight nights and the contender series and the, you know, the pay-per-views. I can't pay $80 a pay-per-view every 2 weeks because you know what I'm saying?
Waters
It's
it down.
damn,
It waters the product down. Whenever
that's
that's what I'm saying. There was, back then. Now, are the fighters better now?
100%.
100%.
But I think that's also a detriment too, bro, because you can't create a star.
There was,
so hard for.
Well, not if you take away some of the programming. If you take away the programming, the cream rises. In the words of Macho Man, the cream always rises to the top.
Oh yeah,
I mean it really does. So when you give somebody less, it's just like in wrestling. When you give somebody less, they want it more.
But I think that it's like a catch-22 though, because it works in their favor also, bro. Because like I really like Ian Gary. I watched him in the contender series before the whole cup shit. Before you know all that shit, I was really Ian Gary as a dog. But now he has to fight MVP. Marcus Venom Page in his second fight in the UFC. Yeah. But it's also like
I thought you was talking about Montavious Porter.
Listen, bro, I love Montavious Vontel Porter, bro.
I mean, I thought we were talking about. I was like, when did MVP go to UFC?
I was like, when did I miss this shit?
I will tell you, this is how far out of the UFC game I am. I haven't really sat down and watched a pay-per-view probably in 5 to 6 years.
The only pay-per-views I've watched since then was the McGregor ones.
I watched the McGregor Cerrone. That was the last one.
I watch them. I watch every pay-per-view, but I watch the main card. It's hard to keep up with the undercards
that's
and shit now.
That's my point. Is back then you got the UFC contender or whatever back then. What was it? The Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter. Yeah.
So you watch that.
They're still doing that too.
Right.
So it's like you got contender series and the Ultimate.
Right.
Fighter.
So you had Tough Ultimate Fighter. And then you had the pay-per-views.
Which, by the way...
And then every now and then you would have a free fight. Like twice a year you'd have a free card on TV. And that was it.
On Spike.
Yes. And that...
Spike.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Now it's Paramount Network.
Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner, Ultimate Fighter 1.
Oh, that's still the greatest fight ever.
Oh, my God. Yeah. That shit's insane, bro. Okay. Absolute dog fight.
Pound for pound, greatest mixed martial artist ever. Pound for pound, under heavyweight.
George St. Pierre.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm gonna go John Jones.
I would say John Jones, but you give me GSP with 25 pounds on him.
Yeah.
Heavyweight.
I'm gonna tell you.
But at the same time,
in his prime, Anderson would have gave John Jones everything he wanted, and more.
But what was bro? Shit, what was his name? Matt Hughes, bro.
Matt was great. Matt was a dog.
Fucking dog, bro.
I'll tell you another one that I absolutely loved. I'm a Rampage guy.
Rampage is great. I love his podcast too. You listen to his podcast?
Dude, every now and then, dude. He's hilarious.
He had Rey Mysterio on there. It's a great episode.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But I'm telling you, man, the reason I liked Rampage was if you watched a Rampage fight, 9 times out of 10, somebody was going to sleep.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's where I'm at in the UFC. I think I'm at 72, but I took a break because I had to go watch Rampage and Chuck Liddell fighting Pride, where Rampage beats him.
Yeah.
And so it's like a whole. I'm trying to catch up the Pride history too, and then the UFC buys them. And it's
greatest knockout ever is the power bomb that Rampage gave Ricardo Arona.
I think the greatest knockout ever is the Leon Edwards head kick with the call and everything against Kamaru Usman.
No, I'm not going to.
It's more recent. It's more recent.
Yeah, so but I mean, there's nothing. Listen, that and then you go watching whenever Fedor knocks out Arlovsky in midair.
Fedor was
now Fedor heavyweight greatest greatest fighter of all time. It's not even close.
In Pride,
no, of anybody, like everything. If he would have,
when he came to UFC,
he never fought UFC.
What? No, he had some fights.
Fedor never fought in
no,
UFC.
He didn't. But who did he fight when he was washed up and got beat?
He fought Dan Henderson. But here's the deal.
That's who it was.
He fought Dan Henderson. But here's the crazy thing about it.
I heard that name in a long time.
Here's the thing. If Fedor now, 90% of the heavyweights he walks through, old and out of shape. Go back and give me Fedor in his prime when he's fighting Pride, whenever he's fighting all those. Nobody touches him.
You don't think John Jones is beating him?
No, I don't. Fedor's hands are too good. His wrestling is too good. He also practices a different martial art, Sambo, and his jiu-jitsu's better. And he's got a better chin. Fedor in his prime has a better chin. The only loss he accrued in 42 fights in Pride was because they said he hit a man while he's down. It's just like John Jones.
The 12-6 elbow.
The 12-6, but they said Fedor struck a man while he was down. It was BS, and then he came back and he left a greasy spot on the mat with him. So, I give John Jones pound for pound, and John Jones is like Anderson Silva. He can go up a couple of. I have no doubt that John Jones could actually even go down a couple of weight classes and dominate.
Didn't Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen do like a boxing match like this weekend?
Who?
Anderson and Chael? Yeah, they might have.
I'm almost positive, bro.
I would like
we got to take a break.
Hey, guys, this is No Look Passengers. Spotlight Scotty Brooks. This segment is brought to you by Ring of Fire Wrestling. On June 22nd, it will be myself and Jay Lethal taking on Fisticuffs. Come watch us, have a good time, buy some comic books at the spot in Newton, North Carolina. I don't know the address. Oh, well. Just Google the spot. And the show begins, I think, at 4 o'clock. There will be a pre-show at 3 o'clock.
The wrestle matches at 4? On Saturday?
Yes.
Isn't
Okay,
it
I gotta
outside
take that.
too?
It's an outside show.
Yeah.
This Saturday?
This
Outside?
Saturday.
That's
Okay,
what I'm
I
worried
gotta be
about.
like-
Yeah, it's going to be hot as balls out
It's
there.
either going to be
I
hot
gotta
as
get off
balls
work. I
or
gotta
it's
get
going to
off
be
work. I
super
gotta get
humid
off work.
or it's going to be
10-minute match.
or it's going to be a 10-minute match.
So, damn, we was about to talk some real shit, but I do want to talk about Jay Lethal, so we can
We
can circle back. But we was just talking outside, just about life, man, and how it's crazy and just. I didn't get to say this outside, but I think it's just so like it's prophecy, bro. Like there's no way that what we were just talking about happened with Jamie and what happened there at that event that happened after me and you linked up through J Spence, and me and Jamie have our history through the times, and then like even with the podcast, like me and Trevor became friends in like high school through baseball. I didn't even play baseball. I became like a baseball manager because I was like, hey coach, I want to get out of class. I like baseball, but I ain't trying to come to practice. Like just let me ride the bus with y'all. And he was like, all right, cool. So
That's awesome.
So that's how me and Trevor became really close. And then like Party Mike moved to Marion
Oh, wow.
our senior year of high school.
Shout out to Party Mike with the hoop tee.
Shout out to Party Mike with the hoop tea and Anheuser-Busch. If you're drinking anything else, you're pussy, bro. Straight up.
What about whiskey?
Different. Beer
Damn
wise, you know what I'm saying?
Damn it.
Uh,
I think Jamie's offended.
He's drinking water over there, Red Solo Cup. Rest in peace to Toby Keith. But
Yes, sir.
it's just like he moved to Marion his senior year of high school, and we became tight. And he was like, I was kind of like one of his first friends when he moved, and like we just kind of linked up. And
Man.
I don't know, bro. And then 10 years later, here we are, us three in this room right
Literally
now
10
with
years.
literally 10 years. And it's like I said, Jamie's my dog. That's like my dog from the kennel, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's one of them type of things where, like, we used to live together, bro.
Yeah,
like,
man.
no homo. We slept in the same bed together. We got money together. we went to work together. Like, he worked at the family restaurant. He knew
First
Uncle.
job.
Like,
Wow.
Literally, we got money together. We worked together.
Learning more about you every day.
Yeah.
Went through all kinds of shit together, man. And it's just like it's prophecy, bro.
Yeah, man.
So if you want to talk about what happened, we can, but that's on y'all.
No, yeah,
But-
definitely. I'll talk about it.
It's just crazy.
It's really a cool story.
When you break everything down from every angle, how crazy it is.
It was an
insane.
amazing story.
Yeah, so like we were talking about outside, is like I've always had a brother, I've always had a sister that I've never met. And then after this whole thing with Frankie and Scotty Brooks, it all took place starting in like March, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So once the announcement was made for the match, I was like, I'm definitely going to this. You know, it's Frankie Kazarian,
Yeah.
like taking on somebody that's
Some jabroni that you know, right?
like, that I've known my whole life.
But it's also, pause real quick, keep exactly where you're at. Now think about the other side of the story.
Yep.
that brings me and Jamie together for the first time. Well, thinking about it now in another aspect, we probably started hanging out again for the first time in a long time just because life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm just life. It's
Yeah.
like just life. We're doing different things.
Yeah.
Last summer, right before we started the podcast, like that's when the shout out to Phil. And
Yeah, I actually just run into Phil at KG's the other day.
And the swamp
That's weird.
foxes.
That's weird.
This is really getting into some weird shit right here.
Bro, I'm telling you. And the swamp, like that's when we kind of rekindled and like it was like, or not rekindled, but you know that's when we got back together. Pause. And it's like
Got back together.
the match. The match kind of brought me. And I was like, hey, bro, like we had talked about it. You know what I'm saying? Like even before the podcast. So continue.
Well, to talk on that about the whole Phil incident, the other day I always go to KG's like once or twice a day.
Shout out to KG, man.
I always get a Metamoon Prime because he ain't stocking the Glowberries, but whatever. So
Party Mike distributes those, and it's a seasonal thing. It was limited. It's
100% it was limited, but
so it's like,
but I know KG.
I want the American Nightmare one.
KG had a whole stack of them. I'm pretty sure I went through every single one of them. But the Metamoons, they were like my next go to. I tried them one day. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna keep coming back. So I've kept coming back, and seems like I grabbed the last one every single day. But
he puts one in the fridge
he
just
do that
for
on
you.
purpose.
Yeah.
He did that on
Yeah.
purpose, so you buy it. It's a marketing strategy, bro. KG's a genius, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. So pull in. I'm working. It's about 5:00 because I had a ride along with me. She had to get back at 5, so I was like, I'm gonna stop and get a drink, right? So it's about 5:00, and I pull in, and there wasn't no parking spot, so I parked kind of to the right of, I guess it's Georgia Avenue technically that runs right up there, but there's a truck parked here, and I kind of park right here to the side, and I see Phil get out. He doesn't see me, and he kind of like looks back at me like,
Damn it, I got weed on me.
and I sit there in my car for a second. I was messing with my phone or something, and finally I get out. Phil walks in. I walk in. I go straight to the right because that's where the proms are. I get my Metamoon, walk out, and then Phil realized it was me, and he was like, "Oh, what's up, dude?" And he was like, "Honestly, I was gonna wave at you, but I didn't know if that was you or not." And so I run into Phil and talked to him for a minute. It was good because I haven't talked to him since the Swamp Foxes, really.
A year probably.
Yeah, I mean, I've run into him. I think I run into him at Walmart one time since then. But no, either way, I got to talk to Phil for a minute. That was cool. And it's just weird how like KG's playing all into this.
I'm telling you, bro, it's prophecy, bro. It's like, it's a thing, bro, and that's what makes me believe in the shit so much, bro. It's like, I watch movies on this shit. They write movies about this shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
Anyway, to get to the bigger picture of this whole story, is match was announced in March. I was like, nah, I'm going to, because this was about the time, I would say early January was about the time I was starting to get back into wrestling and all that stuff. And I've been out of it for a few years. And so when I seen the match was announced in March, I was like, nah, I'm going to this. Like, Frankie Kazarian Spotlight, like, that's dope,
Thank you.
So I would say, where are we at right now? June?
Yep.
June, yeah.
Did this happen in May or June?
June 1st.
June 1st.
So
okay.
May is whenever you talked to me.
Damn, so you were Frankie and Jay Lethal 1 month, bro.
In the
That's
same
crazy.
month,
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fire. That's fire.
So towards the end of May, it was towards the end of May because I went into radar school, and the week before, my dad shows up at my house, and I was asleep. I had a migraine. I was passed out. Serena actually comes and wakes me up. She's like, "Hey, your dad's here." And I was like, I was out of it. So I was like, whatever. So she goes and talks to my dad, and she comes back. And I finally, after I wake up a couple hours, she's like, "Hey, your dad told me that he went and met your brother." I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Like, what do you mean he went and met my brother? Like, they ain't talked in 30 years.
Right.
Now, mind you, I've known this motherfucker for 14 years at this time.
Yeah.
Never knew anything about
Wait,
it, brother.
wait till he
Met
gets,
his mom, met his dad, met his sister, whole
Yeah.
family, uncles, all that.
yeah, and wait till he gets further in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's where it
Yeah,
gets even
so-
crazier.
So she tells me that. I kind of just brush it off. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad that they, got to try to rekindle whatever they were trying to do, whatever. And I was, it was the week of radar school because I asked my instructor, hey, can I, my son's graduation is on Thursday. Is there any possible way that I can get what I need to get done so I can break off and go to my son's graduation? He's like, yeah, cool, whatever. So show up to my son's graduation. My dad shows up. We're sitting there talking prior to the graduation. He was telling me, he was like, hey, after this, I'm going to meet your brother again. We're going to go eat lunch.
Hey, shout out to Braylon, too, for that.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
graduation.
man.
You know
Master
what I'm saying?
mathmatician, by the way.
Master
Oh, wow.
mathematician,
Master
bro. Let's
mathematician
go.
where he's-
Already better than me.
His teacher said that, actually gave him a huge shout out during his graduation, said that she's had to get into first grade math because he's in pre-K.
Hell yeah.
She's had to go into first grade math because he was getting bored with
Wow.
whatever he
It's
was
cool.
already doing.
It's so cool, bro, seeing my homies, Jamie, Party Mike, like raising children and like
Stop it, man. That makes me feel old as hell.
it just make me feel like shit, bro. It's like, man, you
Because
ain't
he
shit.
remembers me.
I remember him from
Braylon's
like
age.
as a 10-year-old kid running around my
It's just
wrestling
like,
matches.
man, what the fuck am I doing in this fucking room talking on a microphone trying to chase
Yeah,
this
and
dream
then-
while
and then he's-
motherfuckers is raising small grown men, bro.
Well, not only that, I remember
Master mathematicians, bro.
running around with all the Panthers trading cards you got
Yeah.
from camp, got them all
Still got 'em,
autographed.
bro.
Yeah, man.
I was with him. He was like, "You want to go?" I was like, "Fuck no."
Yeah, he had no interest in all, bro. But you can guarantee I've been doing it since
Oh,
2006.
I know.
swear,
It's-
I know, man. You were. I remember it.
I ain't missed one since 06.
I mean,
D'Angelo Williams rookie year.
yeah.
That was the first time I ever went down there.
That Jugger won me so many fantasy
As
football.
as a Lions fan, before we get back on the real story, as a Lions fan, it's just good to know that there is a worse franchise in the NFL, in the Carolina Panthers, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because they are dog shit.
How many Super Bowl appearances do you have?
It doesn't matter, bro.
All right.
It doesn't
Anyway,
matter how many. Never mind. Never mind.
Why does everybody that goes to the Lions win a Super Bowl after they leave the Lions?
So it's
Exactly.
the brand new Detroit Lions, bro.
I will
Matthew-
say,
Matthew
I will
Stafford.
say,
Motor City Dank, Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford got a Super Bowl. How many? He's got
Matthew
more than
Stafford.
Lions. Yeah, he won a.
Matthew Stafford.
He has a Super Bowl.
The
with the
motherfucker that
Rams.
turned his back on Detroit.
He
turned
got
his back on
traded.
the
How did he
world?
get turned? He got
No,
traded.
no.
He got
Listen,
traded.
Spotlight Scotty Brooks.
He
Let
got
me tell you
traded.
something. What we're not gonna do is speak blasphemy on the brand new Detroit Lions, bro. Jared Goff is a saint. He is a man amongst boys. Okay. Amon St. Brown.
How did that work?
Man amongst boys.
How did that work
Sam
whenever
Laporta,
Jared Goff
man
met
amongst
the GOAT?
boys.
How did that
Listen,
work whenever
listen.
Jared Goff met the GOAT?
Live and Die by Dan Campbell, bro. That's all I'm
I
saying.
do like Dan Campbell.
Back to the
I like-
story.
I
though.
like the
Back to the
Lions.
story. Back to the
I'm
story.
gonna talk
Back to
so much shit now.
Back to the
You done.
story.
You been waking
First
that
time I
sleeping
met
giant.
Joe, funny story. First time I met Joe, I'm at the gym, right? So shout out to Chalkline Official, bro. They sell clothes, shorts, and shit. They sell wrestling merch and NFL merch and shit, all kinds of shit. So I had these Shawn Michaels gym shorts on, Heartbreak Kid on the back, the 1996 In Your House, Black and Heartbreak Kid. Someone said, he had a homie, I don't remember who it was, but your homie said something to me about it.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, bro, I am the he said something, are you the Heartbreak Kid? And I was like, yeah, bro, I'll sweet chin music you right now. You know, I don't remember who it was. And then we started talking. That's how we linked. Very next day, playoff time, I'm wearing this chalk line Lions shorts, Lions logo across the thing. And then we start talking about football and shit. That's how I met Joel at the gym. That's the first time we ever interacted. And then Spence linked us together. Anyway, back to the important story.
yeah. So anyway,
And shout out to the Detroit Lions, best team in the NFL.
all right. Anyway.
There's a
So
lot of bullshit being spoken here today.
so I'm at my son's graduation, and my dad's sitting here, and he's trying to give me the whole spiel before the graduation starts and all that. And honestly, I'm ignoring a lot of it because I've got a brother I've never met. I'm almost 28 years old. That's kind of a red flag to me. You know what I'm saying?
Also, at this point, when you're almost 28, you're just almost 30.
Yeah, that I was gonna say almost 30, but
Yeah, it's
I didn't want to go
30.
that far with it because Serena's been giving me a hard time about that. But
30.
yeah, exactly. So my dad's trying to give me everything, and I'm brushing it off, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to after I leave here, I'm going to eat lunch with him." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. You know, this is the second time that y'all are going to meet." So anyway, I brushed that off. I was like, good for him. You know, I'm worried about my son's graduation. Then I've got to go back to class. That next, let's see, that was Thursday. The next day, I had my state test for radar, and I had a bunch of stuff I needed to do that day. So I get on my test. I go home, and I had to go change the oil in the Jeep. So I go uptown to Main Street Exxon, and that's where I always go.
Shout out to Biggie, Caleb.
Yeah, exactly. I always go there. As I'm fixing to pull in, I pass my dad, and he didn't see me at first, but I kind of, I just threw my hand out like, hey, so he would, he calls me immediately as soon as I pull in. He's like, hey, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm getting my oil changed. He said, have you ate lunch yet? I said, no, I'm fixing to walk across the street. I was going to go to McDowell Local, get something to eat,
Is Tanner working?
No, he actually wasn't there.
Shout out to Tanner too, bro.
So he says, okay, well, I'll meet you there. I was like, all right, cool. So he shows up, we're sitting there, and then he's obviously wanting to tell me everything, that happened from start to finish. So the first time that he went down there, he just showed up. He said he messaged my brother's mom on Facebook. He just recently got Facebook, like as of a week ago of when this happened. So he messages the mother on Facebook, and she, I guess, tells him where he works at and all that. So he shows up at his job, and he walks in. He walks up to the guy, and he says, hey, I'm looking for Greg.
So where does he work?
I'll get to that.
Oh,
I
I thought I was gonna throw it in.
No, yeah, we can throw that in too. Because whenever he had told Serena about the whole situation, she had told me like he works at some like pastry factory or something like that.
Oh my God.
So like I'm thinking this dude is like making like Debbie cakes or some shit. And I was also half asleep, so I may have misinterpreted what she was saying. So I'm sitting there with my dad, and he's like, yes, when I went down there, he shows up, and some guy that he talks to, he says, hey, I'm looking for Greg. Guy says, okay, hang on a second. So obviously Greg comes out, walks up to my dad, and this is what my dad says. He says, hey, he says, are you Greg? And he says, yes. He says, well, I'm your daddy, and I'm here to apologize. And Greg says, okay, I figured that's who you were. Then basically tells my dad, to leave. Now, Dad walks outside, gets back in the car, and he's fixing to leave. And Greg comes back out, and they start talking again. Whatever. He said they had like an hour-long conversation. Well, then he starts coming into like the Thursday, which we're on Friday, so he starts talking about their lunch that they had Thursday after Braylon's graduation. He says, yeah, he works at a cigar shop. I said, a cigar shop? He says, yeah, in Hickory. I said, okay. I didn't think nothing of it at first. Then he proceeds to say, hey, yeah, he's a lot like you. He's a huge wrestling fan. I said, okay.
Now, who was sponsoring the Frankie match?
The place where Greg works, the Cigar Hut.
No, Joe, you're supposed to say what's the name of the business?
No, the Cigar Hut.
The Cigar Hut.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
the place where he works, the
So-
Cigar Hut.
So after he says,
Shout out to the Cigar Hut,
he
Janet
says,
and Greg.
He says, yeah, he's a huge wrestling fan. And I said, okay, hang on. We're going to talk about this for a second. Like, he works at a cigar shop. He's a wrestling fan. Where's this cigar shop at? He says, it's in Hickory. It's, he said, what did he say? He said it's in the old Pizza Hut building. I said, okay. So I look it up on Facebook because he's like, yeah, it's something like the Cigar Hut or something. I was like, wait a minute, no. After he said Cigar Hut, I was like, hang on. So then I pull up Joel's Facebook, and he's cutting a promo for Frankie at the cigar hut, and I turned my phone. I showed my dad. I was like, is this the place you're talking about? And he's like, yeah, that kind of looks like it. I said, okay, because they're holding an event here tomorrow for like before the match, you know.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, that's really cool." And I was like, "No, you don't understand. Like this is really weird at this point." Like, and I show him the video, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it, whatever." And I said, "Did he mention anything about like some wrestlers coming to hold an event?" Or anything? He was like, "No, I don't think he mentioned anything." And I was like, "Okay," you know. Then I showed him the video, and I was like, "This." He's like, "Yeah, it's the same place, whatever." So then I kind of just left that conversation alone, because at this point I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah,
is
like,
happening?
what the fuck is going on? So later that night, I know me and Joel had talked about going out anyway, you know, because we were gonna go out the night before, couldn't make it happen, so we was like, we'll try to go out, you know, Friday night, whatever. Plus, I'd taken my state test. I was like, I'm stressing over this. I kind of just want to go grab a drink somewhere. Well, my dad texts me at around, I don't know, 2 or 3 that afternoon, and he says, "Hey, Greg says he's going to be at that wrestling match Saturday night that you were talking about." I was like, okay, this is
Your brother, who you've never met before
Yeah.
in your entire life.
so.
when you're
like I
almost
said-
28, 30.
Yeah.
And like I said too, like this, I'd already planned on coming to this match
That's right.
in March.
Yeah.
My dad didn't try to rekindle this relationship with my brother until a week ago. So I was going to be at this match
Regardless
regardless of whether they done whatever they were doing with their relationship. So I was going to be in the same building with my brother and not even knowing it.
that you've never met before.
That I've never
in
met.
30 years.
Yeah, so
28.
my dad texts me. He says, "Hey."
35.
Yeah. So my dad texts me. He says, "Hey, he's going to be at that match tomorrow. He's actually one of the sponsors for it." And I was like, okay, you know. I didn't even text him back. I texted Joel, and I was like, "Bro, we need to talk." And I was like, "Can you meet me here at 7:00?" He's like, yeah, definitely, you know. So we show up to Taylor's Brewing.
Shout out Steve and Dave.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta
honestly.
link. One of y'all need to link me with the dude who runs Taylor's Brewing. I got an idea.
Oh, we
I
can
would like
definitely
to-
do
Oh yeah, yeah, we can definitely do that.
And they're one of the. They watched me grow up as well.
Yeah,
Like,
they're great
cool.
people.
this
Great
is
people.
how like,
They watched me grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, like
Okay,
that's
cool.
that's part of how we know each other. Yeah, it's part of that group
Okay,
that
okay.
me and
Yeah.
Jay.
Prophecy is what you're telling me, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Joel's like, "Yeah, I'll be there at 7:00 or whatever." Told Joel, meet me at 7:00. He was a little bit late. He
That's always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he texted me. He said, "Hey, I'm just now leaving the house. I'll be there, 10 minutes." I was like, "All right, cool, whatever." So I'm sitting there, and there's like a back patio right there at Taylor's Brewing. I was sitting outside waiting on him. He shows up. He don't even go inside to get a drink or anything. He walks straight up to me, and he's like, "Yo, man, everything good?" Like, I was
Well,
like,
yeah.
"Yeah."
Whenever you get a text like that, you're sitting there going, "Yo, what?" You know.
Yeah, so I was like,
"What the
What
fuck?"
what is going on?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
what
no,
the
I
hell?
was like, I look at him, I was like, everything's good. It's just a little fucking weird right now. And so I start telling him, the whole spiel from the start of it. And
blows my mind.
as I'm telling him, and he's like, "Is your brother's name Greg?"
See, this is where it gets crazy. Hold up.
And I'm like, yeah, it is. And this is why it's really fucking weird. And I was like, yeah, that's his name. And he goes, "Dude, I've known Greg for years."
Yeah.
And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, Greg's the one that got me into cigars." And I was like, okay, so you mean to fucking tell me that I done planned on coming to this match. He's known my brother for years.
Yeah. I mean, years.
And
Years.
I was going to be in the same building and not even know him.
Like 08, 09. That's how long I've known him.
And So, we talk about the whole situation. Like, we're both on the same page. Like, yeah, it is kind of weird, but it's kind of cool at the same time.
It's prophecy, man.
And so that we stayed out. Hell, they
11
done
o'clock, I think.
Yeah, they done closed the place down.
Yeah, Steve's
like,
just unplug the lights.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. You guys stay out here. Just unplug the lights when you leave. I was like, all right, cool. So we leave. Joel's got to be up to go get Frankie, whatever. And so I was gonna come because the event at the cigar shop was at like 12 that day, and I planned on coming to that, but something happened.
Well, let me get a little side note right there. So, you didn't show up, but I told Greg the story
Right.
that day. Just letting you know this. I told Greg, and I was like, hey, I heard something really cool about you. I pulled him off to the side. And he's like, okay, well, what's up? And, after you meet Greg, you understand what I'm saying. He's very dry guy, but one of the best people in the world once you get to know him. And he's like, okay, what's going on? Now, I tell him, the story that you told me.
Right.
And
which has got to be fucking weird for him.
Yeah.
Because he's known you.
Yeah, longer.
Right.
And I was like, and I told him, the same thing that I told you that night, which was, give it a chance. I'm telling you, you guys will end up being best friends. You guys are more alike than you realize, and this is really cool to be a part of. Right. And I told him that you were coming to the show that night, and that you would possibly walk up and introduce yourself.
Damn, you spoiled the sauce.
Well, here's the reason. I don't want somebody.
You said possibly.
Yeah, well, I said possibly. I didn't say.
But you didn't know that, though.
I didn't know that he had.
See,
but
here's prophecy, bro. That's
but here's
the
reason why I did that, and I want you to understand this too. The reason that I did that was because, both of you are my friends. I wanted it to be a good experience for you. I wanted it to be a good experience for him. I know how things like that in a situation that can be like that, how it could turn everything upside down. I wanted it to be the best possible situation because I care about both of you. I think the world of both of you, and I would do anything in the world for both of you. Both of you have affected my life in more ways than you can ever realize, in way more positive ways than negative. So I want you guys to have that relationship.
Finish the story, man. That's what I'm saying. It's prophecy.
It's the American Nightmare. We got to finish the story, right?
Yeah,
That's
man.
what I'm saying.
That's exactly right.
So, no, I even told Joel that night. I was like, bro, it's just really fucking weird to me, and he was kind of giving me the whole spiel of, how Greg was and, how I was and all this. And I was like, dude, it's just, do I go here and
you were a little apprehensive at first because I get it.
I mean, you gotta think, bro. That's a weird thing too.
Yeah, it's weird to meet your long lost brother at a fucking independent wrestling show.
Exactly.
Of all things.
Yeah, bro. Like, it's crazy.
And I kind of told him too. I was like, I don't know if I'm really ready to do that, I guess you would say. But at the same time, that I obviously
how do you get ready for that though?
Well, I kind of goaded him.
You definitely don't get ready for it whenever it's the situation that we have brought to the table.
Yeah,
I was going to be here regardless.
Yeah, you just fucking do it. I mean, seriously. I mean, and it was a cool situation. I don't think it could have. It's almost storybook.
I will say, side note, when I met Jamie's brother, or he figured out who he was, pointed him out. I was like, bro, I'll walk up with there. I know you're nervous. Yeah. I'll just be there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he had an FTR shirt on.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew he was a good guy.
And he knows the connection with me and Dan.
So that's how I knew he was a good guy. I stopped them. They were about to get in a very serious conversation. I would say, by the way, your shirt's fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying?
And props to you for doing that, man. Listen, I was busy as hell. I wish I could have been over there for that.
Well, no, and it's totally cool because I ain't gonna lie, like, I was pumped about going to this show prior to all of that happening, and then the closer I got to that front door, it was like, holy shit, like,
heart's beating out of your chest.
I've gotta actually introduce myself to this guy because my dad's counting on me. You know what I'm saying? Because he already told me, he was like, yeah, he wants to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of like, bro, I was just trying to come up here and watch some wrestling. I didn't want it to be all this.
Yeah.
And so I walk in the door, and I will say this is one of the first places that I've been that I didn't really look around the room because I was afraid to look around the room because I knew that if I made eye contact with him, I got to go right then. You know what I'm saying?
You knew when you seen him or no?
No, actually, when we walked in, we walked up to, Frankie and Joel was over in the corner. Walked in.
So you did. You walked past him.
I walked past him, but I didn't know it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I walked past him, but I didn't know it. I walked up to Joel, we dap it up, and he's like, he
points him out.
Joel like pulls me in. He's like, hey, just so you know, that guy back there with the overalls sitting up against the wall, that's your brother. I was like, okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know where he's at. Yeah, so I didn't go sit right beside him.
But even then.
But it preps you.
But the thing about it is too is, you, Trevor, and Party Mike, y'all all rode down together, and it was me, Spence, and Corey in the car.
Shout out to Corey Bird and Spence.
And which I kind of gave them the whole story on the way down. So obviously you guys didn't get that story until we got down.
Well, you told me ringside, we're getting ready. You filled me in, whole thing. He's running me down, and then he's telling me this, and he's like, yeah, this guy over here.
Well,
it fills me in the whole story. I'm like, oh, shit.
Well, and on the way out of before we got to the cigar event, Frankie and I kind of filled Frankie in on it too.
Yeah, which I think is fucking awesome.
That's fire too.
Yeah, I was like, hey, have you ever been to a show? We're just driving down the road. You ever been to a show? He's like, and I explained a little bit of the situation. He's like, what? I was like, yeah. And I was like, you want to know the really cool thing? I was like, I've known both of them for probably about the same amount of time.
And that's got to be weird for you too, in a weird sense. Because I felt kind of weird about it. I was like, man.
But, at the same time, I was honored to have been a part of it. Honestly, I am honored. I was sitting here. I told you that night, sitting there.
It's just story.
I think it's I think that was the coolest moment. I'm getting cold chills talking about it right now.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all, your match with Frankie is what made that shit. Had that match not happened, it wouldn't have made it.
I wouldn't have been there.
It would have. Yeah. It would have never turned out to be what it was. Because my dad could have rekindled that relationship, but had that match not been at that venue that same night with Frankie Kazarian, this shit would have never happened.
I agree.
And so you and Frankie really made that shit, honestly. Well, my dad could have said, hey, we'll go get lunch, and that'd be one thing.
Right.
But
the whole vibe could have been different.
Yeah, it'd have been 10 times different. Yeah. It'd have been way different. But the fact of the matter is my brother runs the same cigar shop that
I started in.
Y'all were having this whole event at. You know what I'm saying?
And literally that's also what got me in. He is literally one of the people that got me into the cigar industry.
Which built the relationship with.
And then he's been coming to my shows for almost just as long again.
Well, that's that's like when we get there, after you tell me who he is and all that, I kind of we seen the seats where we were sitting at, and we just kind of migrated that way. And Spence already knew, and then Spence was kind of like, well, let's just go up and talk to him. I was like, I'm not really ready for all that. Just let me get it adjusted to everything going on here. And then,
but Spence is wise beyond his years.
Oh yeah, and then we feel B-May in on it.
Spence is an old motherfucker too now. Listen, he's wise, but he got some years on us.
Listen, yeah. I mean, out of everybody in the group, I'm definitely the oldest. But I'll tell you, Spence is pretty smart about that.
Love that guy, man. Shout out to Spence.
So we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden it gets to the point where it's just like, I'm just over here sitting by myself, I think, let's see, it was Corey, Trevor, Party Mike.
It was outside chilling. It was me and you. We was
we're just sitting there. Spence is over there running Joel's table.
Yeah. And Party Mike's with Spence, Corey Bird, and Trevor's outside.
Yeah, so I'm like,
allegedly shotgunning beers, but we don't know.
I'm just sitting here kind of like, this is it's getting kind of fucking weird, whatever. And then I get up. We go over there, and we're sitting over at Joel's table. Joel's off doing his own thing, and we're just kind of manning the table. And then Spence and B-May's like, let's just go ahead and go over and talk to him. I'm like, I don't want to right now. I will at some point. And then I was just like, all right, fuck it. let's do it before the show. We got a little bit of time before it starts and all that. So go over there and talk to him. First thing I noticed was the FTR shirt underneath the overalls. I mean, you can clearly see just FTR. So we start, we're chatting, and then B-May and Spence kind of just started easing their way out.
Yeah, you get them in the conversation.
Yeah.
You get out.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's what you got to do, man.
So we sit there and we talk for a little bit, and kind of the same thing I told you that night, that Friday night.
Right.
I was kind of like, I told him the same thing. I was like, actually you put it in my brain to say this was, I'm the innocent party here. Like, I don't know what happened between you and my dad.
That's right.
But I'm the innocent party. Obviously, y'all haven't had a relationship in 30 years. I'm only almost 28 years, so I had nothing to do with any of that.
It's true, though. It's very true.
And so I was like, we just talked about it, and he was like, yeah, you're right, and we talked for, I don't know, 30 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Mostly about wrestling.
A lot. I mean, we were gone. Like, I think I went outside and allegedly shotgunned some beers, regardless of proof or allegation.
None of my business.
Come back inside. They're doing like the national anthem and shit, Take my hat off, stand there. Jamie's still talking, you know. It's
and then I finally told him, I was like, because I know my dad was counting on us meeting.
That's fire,
so he was kind of like, hey, make sure you get a picture with him. And I didn't want to ask him for a picture right off, because to me it was kind of, the conversation itself was weird in general.
Yeah.
So I just told him, I was like, hey, you going to be here after the show? He was like, yeah, I'll be around, So I was like, all right, cool. I'll get up with you after. Then after the show, we talked for a little bit more, and then made sure I got a picture with him for my dad and all that. But it was just how everything played out from start to finish was really fucking weird. And then we hung out after the show. And then this was actually really funny too. We're sitting there, and Joel had kind of already told me, that they were going to go out after the show or whatever. And so I was like, I asked him, I said, y'all still going out? And he said, yeah, we're going to Kickbacks. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then he looks over at Frankie. He was like, hey, you cool with these guys going with us? And he was like, he said it with the straightest face too, bro. He was like, no. I was like, all right, fuck, I guess I'm going back to Marion. And then he switched it up real quick, and he's like, no, it's cool, I don't care. And sure, man. So we go eat Kickbacks. It's like,
I think he kayfabed the shit out of everybody right there too. I think because it took a while for you guys to walk back there.
Well, honestly, I didn't know you were there until you showed up. I didn't even know you. I was like, I'm sitting there. I finished my fries, and I'm like,
we
damn,
had ate and everything.
these motherfuckers,
like, these motherfuckers ain't coming. They told them that we had to move a table.
Yeah.
Because we had two extra tables.
We went straight to the outside that night because we wanted to smoke some cigars.
We were like, bro, we had Spence finesse them, bro. They moved like 3 tables, put us together. They were like, we don't know if they're coming, but they might.
Yeah,
right.
We was like, let's see, how many did we have? Like 6 at least?
Yeah.
We was like, we got 6. We may have like 8 or
12.
10.
Yeah.
So she was like, all right, cool. So she starts moving tables. And then I get on with my fries, and I'm like, these motherfuckers ghosted us, bro. Like, they ain't coming.
Bro.
And
that's a great rib, by the way.
And then Joe comes walking up behind us, and he was like, hey, we're out here smoking cigars. We're about to leave, though, if you guys want to come out and hang out.
No, he doesn't say we're about to leave.
Yeah,
you guys should come back.
Yeah. He says,
we pay for our food. As soon as we get through the door, Joe's leaving. He's like, yeah, we're leaving.
Well, I ain't gonna lie.
Fuck, Joe. What the fuck?
We still got the group photo.
That our waitress.
Yeah.
I don't think we was in there.
We wasn't in that one.
You weren't?
No.
Okay.
It's okay, but we talked outside. It's
all
right.
right.
That's not what we're there for. We don't give a fuck about. We're there for Spotlight Scotty Brooks. We don't care who else is there.
Well, I appreciate that. No,
it was
a lot of fun.
It was
a lot of fun.
Our waitress kind of screwed that for us.
Yeah, our waitress was
because
also
she took her fucking sweet time.
Yeah.
Bringing
our
I didn't
worst
know
thing
that part.
in the world, getting a shitty waitress.
And so
I swear it is.
Well, see, I had a friend of mine that worked security there.
Okay.
And I had him. The funny thing is, you guys had the tables. I text him as we're coming up. I'm like, hey, me and Frankie are on our way. Can you make sure the outside's kind of cleared out for us and everything?
Oh no, I seen him scoping the place out.
Yeah.
Like
he was making sure nobody messed with us that night.
Yeah. No, I watched that happen, but I didn't know that was because of you guys, because I didn't know you guys had showed up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
He's like, y'all don't want to be bothered, right? I'm like, not really. I was like, there'll be a group coming in about 6 to 7 deep. We would like to get them with us. And I guess we didn't communicate.
yeah, we did.
well
Yeah,
enough.
that definitely didn't. That went under. But anyway, so yeah, like you were saying, we finally get our bills paid for, and we're going to walk outside to hang out and drink another drink. And it was getting kind of late, and obviously they had to be up early in the morning to catch the flight back. Yep. And as soon as we walk outside, Joe's like, "Hey man, we're actually about to leave," and I was like, "Well, fuck." Whatever. So we're walking back through the restaurant, and Frankie kind of, I'm talking to him a little bit, and obviously they've already talked about the whole situation. We kind of stepped to the side, and I was telling him everything, and he's like, bro, I want you to know that like nothing like that has ever happened to me, and it's truly humbling that I got to be a part of it. And I told him, I was like, bro, honestly, you and Joel are the ones that made it happen.
That's crazy, bro. Like
and
think about that too. Like,
I've got somebody, the queen of TNA,
multiple X Division champion.
Yeah, I've got the queen of
multiple
TNA
time
telling
X
me
Division champion.
The queen
that-
of TNA.
that
I heard he
something
eats
like that
corn
is-
the long way.
he does eat corn the long way, is what I heard too. But I've got somebody like him telling me that like something like that's never happened. And
That's
how
crazy,
humbling
dude.
it is to him that he got to be a small part of it, which he doesn't realize he was a huge part of it.
Huge.
Because had he never flew in from fucking LA, bro, like
Listen, bro, that's why
it
wrestling
wouldn't
is
have, it
real.
wouldn't have happened the way it did.
Real life is fake, bro.
I think I said that on the last podcast.
I think I said that on the last podcast, actually.
I think it was both of us.
I think it was Mick Foley.
I think it was Mick Foley. I think.
Nah, I'm just kidding. That story is fucking nuts to me, bro, because it's like, it's just the prophecy. Like, it's just insane to me how, like, all these little storybooks go into each. It's just like wrestling.
It
I
is.
mean,
It
it
is.
really is. It really
Had
is.
had my dad not called me that Friday that I was getting my oil changed, had he not called me and said, "Hey, I'll just meet you over here and eat lunch," I'd have never got the whole thing about him running the cigar shop. I'd have never got any of that. So I would
You'd
have
never put two and two
I
together.
wouldn't have put two and two together. But the fact that he called me that day because
think
we
the real
just happened to
question is-
pass each other. I don't ever pass. My dad never leaves Old Fort.
Not to cut you off,
Like-
but how did you not put two and two together
He didn't know.
I didn't know
this whole time?
I didn't know. I didn't know he had a long lost brother. I didn't know Greg had a long lost brother.
Well, you couldn't see like the similarities. They don't look alike. I will
no,
say
they-
don't.
we don't look alike,
they
and
look
honestly,
nothing alike.
we're different in our own ways.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, they're oil and water. But then
Exactly.
there's
Okay,
there's enough similarities that you wouldn't think they were brothers, but you would think these guys could be really good friends.
That's an insane story, man.
I sat there when he told me the story, sitting in Taylor Brewing. I literally got cold chills. My mind was blown. I don't know how many times my jaw dropped while I was sitting there talking to him. And I mean, I was humbled. I told you the same thing that Frankie told you. I'm humbled that I'm even a part of that.
That's what I'm saying. But like, if it wasn't for you guys, like that would have never happened.
And then check this out. Not to make this shit so selfish about me and the podcast and shit, but from that showing up to that has opened doors for us to meet people and go places and meet different wrestlers. And like, I'm DMing with people who Joe was telling me about. Like,
Yeah.
Joe was like, "Hey, look out for these dudes. They're really good." And now these dudes are like, I'm talking to them. They're gonna pull up. They're gonna do the podcast.
That's right.
We're gonna
That's
do
right.
stuff together, bro. It's like,
You got to come out on the 22nd and do some stuff. Bring the equipment.
speaking of 22nd, you
Jay
know what I'm
Lethal,
saying?
yeah.
We
Got the one of the greatest of all time tagging with me right there. The guy who was on the team that retired Ric Flair.
listen. Before we get to that though, we're probably gonna take another break,
All
and then
right.
we'll come back to that, and we'll get the whole last segment. We'll be on that because I'm hyped about that.
I'm hyped too, man.
That shit's listen. That's what I gotta figure out. Like I was talking to you, I gotta figure out how to distinguish from like being a fan, you know, because like you meet Frankie Kazarian out and you're drinking beer and you're like having a conversation with him and
Yeah.
he's telling your boy that like, bro, like you're talking about the long he knows about this whole story,
Right,
and like
yeah.
he's part of it.
Yeah.
And
to
it's
think,
like
to think that
but
Frankie
also
went back
you
and
just
told
want to
his
be
wife.
like,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah,
It-
who's
it's
also
like,
a TNA Hall of Famer.
That's what I'm saying. Like to think that Frankie went back and I don't know what he did, but possibly told his wife about the whole situation.
Or just the fact that he was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if he knew nothing, the fact that he was there in the whole story is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's
Yeah.
what's like, I don't know, man. It's just like, something's got, that's why I believe in this shit so much. That's why I dream so much. That's why it's like, I don't know,
ever
man.
stop.
It's
Don't ever stop.
that's
dreaming.
what just fuels the shit, because like, bro, you can't tell me that shit's not like a reason.
Well,
the shit don't, whether it's God, whether it's
the
religious,
universe, whatever.
the universe,
yeah. Right.
the spaghetti, whatever the fuck you believe in, bro.
Right.
Whatever it is, it's something. The law of attraction, it's something. It's
Well,
something
not only
is
that.
there.
I mean, you think about it. You know, you said you're never going to stop dreaming. See, you know, you can say manifest, or hell, you can just say you just put in the good old fashioned hard work. We will literally, you know, if you think on it enough and then you act. A lot of people are scared to act. They, you know, like you're saying, I don't know how
100%.
I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that, or I don't know how to approach this guy. Do you know what the easiest thing is to do? Just go up, tap the guy on the shoulder, and say, "Hey, that's how I got to meet Frankie."
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's how I got to know Frankie. That's how I got to, you know, the night that I told you about the last time, smoking cigars with him and Chavo and all those guys. I just brought cigars, and I was like, and hey, I heard you're a cigar guy. Yeah, let's smoke. And then next thing you know, I'm having this match with him 2 years later, and it's become a friendship.
It's part of the story.
Yeah,
man.
and it's a great part of the story.
It happens for a reason. Like there's, I just believe so. Like that moments have to line up like that.
Honestly, that's one of the top 3 moments of my life was that
God,
night. That whole night, the whole build up, everything, easily top 3 moment in my life.
You know, one of my favorite things about that night was though,
What?
You're coming out, you're doing the entrance, you make the long way around the ring. You go the opposite way, you dap everybody else up. Then you get to us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, and then you just stop, you know what I'm saying? And Trevor, who's the least like into wrestling at all.
Yeah,
you stop right in front of him and he loses his shit. He's going crazy. He's like, ah! He's like smacking you in the chest, like giving you chops. He's just there getting fucking hyped. He was like, that was probably one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Just,
speaking
like,
of that too, he stops at Trevor, and I'm the one with the dope ass spotlight Scotty Brooks sign, and I'm just kind of here off frame like.
I think he felt the energy. I think he was like, he
I had to
felt
kind of ease my way into it.
He felt Trevor getting so excited. He was so excited, bro. And there's just like, oh shit, it was great.
Dude, it was so much
dude.
fun.
I loved it.
You know,
But then he made up for it though,
He did.
because he grabbed the sign,
flipped
put the
it
queen
around.
of queen of TNA right,
like it, I
right
like
in
it.
Frankie's face.
I think before we go on break and come back, just know we're going twice as hard for.
Oh, I can't wait, man. It's gonna
We're
be fun.
going twice as hard.
It's gonna be fun.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
gonna be fun.
Let's take a
Frankie
quick break real
may not
quick.
even make it to the ring, bro. Like,
Ooh.
That's kind of heelish, don't you think? It ain't none of my business.
No,
I mean-
look at Stone Cold, bro. In 1999,
you know what's crazy though? Motherfucker
Peak.
still looks like that.
peak,
Yeah,
peak of
has
America,
not
bro.
aged a bit.
Nah.
Peak of
Yeah.
civilization, 1999, 2000.
Yeah.
Look at Nestle Crunch, bro. What a great candy bar. Slept on today. Kids don't even
Nestle
eat Crunch bars now.
And they're so great.
At the movie theater, come
Oh,
on, man.
yeah.
The Crunch Bites.
Dude, I went to.
Ooh, how's Bad Boys 4? You said
Bro.
you went and watched Bad Boys 4? Don't
did.
spoil the movie.
I ain't
but
gonna spoil it for you, but I'm gonna tell you this.
I hate Will Smith now, by the way. And you know me. You know how much I love Fresh Prince. The reason I love sneakers, fashion, being fly is because of Will Smith and Fresh Prince. But fuck Will Smith.
No, I'm gonna
He's
tell
a
you,
cuck,
I ain't
and
even
he
gonna-
shouldn't have slapped Chris Rock.
I ain't even gonna speak on the movie, bro. But the movie theater, the Marion movie theater,
Is it nice? I haven't been.
bro.
It's pretty awesome, man.
And it's
$5 on a Sunday afternoon, you can get or a Saturday afternoon, you get a matinee.
we went
$20, you can get popcorn, drink, everything.
matinee.
Wait, that's 2 tickets.
Let's
May
see
have
what
to
was
check
it.
that shit out.
Yes, we went yesterday, right? Matinee yesterday was $6 ticket. So $12
bad.
$12 for us to get in. And then we got a large popcorn and 2 medium drinks. It was like one of their specials is like $10. Well, then we got large popcorn, 2 medium drinks, a thing of nachos, and some candy, and it was like $15, bro.
It's not bad.
No.
at all.
No.
No.
Was the
And
movie good though?
Movie was great.
I seen the clip of him with the self,
Yeah.
like propelling, like gun, like body
Yeah.
cam footage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked pretty sweet.
It's
I was
so
like, the
it's
camera
really
works
good.
pretty nice.
So did you watch the last one?
Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah.
No.
No. See, you got to watch that one before you watch this one.
So it's storyline.
Yeah.
I watched the first two. Great movies.
No, you got to definitely watch the
I
last
love
one
the first two.
because
What's it on? Is it on anything like streaming? It's got to be on something.
I'm sure it is.
HBO or.
So I don't know if you know it or not, and I ain't trying to spoil the last one for you, but Detective like Howard, like
Martin Lawrence.
no, like their boss, the old white dude.
I
Yeah.
don't even remember
Yeah.
him, bro. I ain't gonna.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, he gets killed in the last one,
I don't even remember.
but
him,
then
so.
that plays into this one, and
Gotcha.
it's nice.
Okay.
It's really good for it to
You
be
guys
like.
ever watch?
So I gotta go to Bad Boys 2 for a second. You know the infamous scene where Martin Lawrence and Will Smith come to the door. You look 30.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
so-
With the kid.
Wait a minute. Hang on. I got to say this. So my best friend, shout out TK, literally just had a baby, and he had a baby girl.
Hell yeah! Shout
Yeah.
out to Turner, man.
Yeah.
Happy
So
Father's Day,
that scene will probably play out in about 12 to 15 years.
he followed us. Shout out to TK. Like I was just
Me and
saying,
TK at the
Now,
door.
so speaking of
TK followed us off
Yep.
the episode. You know what I'm
Appreciate
saying?
it.
So shout out to Turner.
speaking of that, Bad Boys 2, that scene.
Yeah.
So like it plays kinda into the Bad Boys for Life, plays kinda into that one, but then in this one, bro, it's like that motherfucker that shows up to that door, he's a fucking badass.
Okay, that's fine.
Like it's like honestly, it may play
Is
into
it the same actor or no?
yeah, it's the same guy.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
it
That-
may-
that's
they
pretty
kept
cool. That's
that,
pretty
yeah.
It
cool.
may even play into another Bad Boys with
Him.
Like a
him.
spinoff.
Yeah, kinda.
That
So
would be fire.
the first time I went in that theater was I literally was sitting there going, nope, I'm not gonna go watch the movie until Top Gun comes out.
Now,
the Top
first
Gun
time
Maverick.
in the theater, the new theater or
Yeah.
the old theater?
Oh man, the old theater, man.
old theater.
I got some stories about
we
that.
can't go in.
I
We
got
all
some stories.
No,
Man, I had so much fun there on a Friday night chasing girls.
No. As creative director, boss, leader, director, whatever the.
Let me tell you
shit
about
I
this
am of
one
this
time.
podcast- No. We are
tribal
not
chief.
talking about the old Marion movie theater ever on this podcast, bro.
Man, I just
Nope,
do-
the new one. First time you went to the new one, you said you ain't watching until Top
Bro,
Gun.
the
Wow.
seats are nice.
yeah, dude, they're awesome. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
Like
The
they
old
ain't,
ones weren't, but when
they
you
ain't
didn't-
like
Never mind.
the Carolina.
I made out with two girls at the same time in that place.
What is it like the
This is a family-friendly
the
show.
Carolina?
That's as far as I'm going.
Carmike or whatever it is
Yeah.
in Nashville, where they got like the reclining seats. And
Oh,
all
that
that
shit's crazy. The one
It
in
ain't
Grove
like
Park.
that. But these seats is nice.
Dude, I went
Okay.
and watched when I was
haven't
living in
been.
Kansas
I
City.
need
I
to
went
go.
and watched A Quiet Place in an IMAX 3D where the seats vibrate. You want to talk about something? Just remember how scary that movie was the first time you watched it, and like then something's like vibrating like on your body. You're like, what the fuck?
I'm not a scary movie guy, man.
I'm not either, but it was like a sci-fi movie. If you go watch that, if you've not watched
I'm
it,
also not a big movie watcher guy,
Oh, neither
which
am I.
which sounds crazy. Like,
so I'm the only movie buff in here.
no.
All right,
I'm
cool.
trying to get into it. Like, I watched
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings for the first time like a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Watch the
know.
original Star Wars. The
I-
first
I've
six
wa-
are
No,
great.
no.
The other
I've
three they
watched all
suck.
the Star Wars, obviously. Like, I've watched Star Wars Rocky, like
Yeah.
some of the great ones, but not all. I have never watched Pulp Fiction.
The
The boys say I'm
Yep.
lame for that. I need to watch Pulp Fiction. I'm gonna.
No, it's a great
eventually,
movie. It's a phenomenal
You
movie.
know.
So I will say with the new Bad Boys too, it's like everything that happens in that movie you wouldn't have been able to predict.
Oh wow.
Like the way things happen. Like it. Honestly, that movie makes for more movies.
Like a Fast and,
And it's
Furious
kind of like
type
one of those.
thing.
It's kind of like one of those things where Fast and Furious kind of like got way the fuck out there.
I mean, you had The Rock and Bruce Willis, wasn't it?
But that's
Bruce
what I'm
No,
saying.
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
Like, whenever-
show up
And Idris Elba.
Roman Reigns fucking
When the movies start
spine
getting
bustered somebody through an office table.
yeah, when the movies start getting out there, that's when it's time to call it quits.
Absolutely.
But
Rest in peace
With-
to Paul Walker.
with this one though, it's kind of like yeah, I could do another one.
Right.
Without Will Smith, though.
I wouldn't say that because Will Smith is there's a bunch of flashbacks from the older movies, like Bad Boys 1,
From
Bad
when
Boys 2.
Will Smith was cool before he slapped Chris Rock and was a cuck.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he honestly makes a lot of that movie, and there's a lot of stuff that happens in this new one that wouldn't have happened without Will Smith.
Before, never mind.
He was still a cuck back then.
If my girl fuck August Alsina,
Dude.
that ain't my girl. That's
Dude,
all I'm
no,
saying.
she was fucking Tupac back then.
Yeah, poetic.
Yeah, I mean,
justice
what the
type
fuck?
shit.
I mean, like,
listen.
and Will Smith, no, I still love her. Man, fuck you.
Yeah. Whatever. You can't be the Fresh Prince, bro, and be the
No.
coolest motherfucker I knew and do that shit.
That's
later.
right.
But whatever. I digress.
Yeah.
I would like to go see Bad Boys if it's a.
I'm gonna tell you, bro. Like,
And I
definitely
would
watch.
like to
watch the
support
last
local,
one.
bro. Like if
Yeah.
I needed, and I enjoy watching movies. Like I want to watch more shit.
Man, I'm telling
Just
you.
creatively. Like I want to see how shit's filmed and like
Right.
ideas and storylines. And shout out to Al Snow and Head, bro. Again,
That's right. What does everybody want?
Head,
What does everybody need?
Head.
I'm such a mark.
Yeah, same. Anyway, back to
Definitely
real
watch
life
the
shit.
last one though before you go watch the
So
one.
I'm gonna figure it out.
But-
it's got to be on streaming services somewhere.
I will say though, like I haven't been to a movie theater in probably 4 or 5 years, and this one really really outdone
Yeah,
themselves.
it's really nice in there, man.
And
It's
they only
really-
got
I'll
2
have to go
movies
check it
going on
out.
at one time, but still like
and they usually get
What
the
movies are out right now? Bad Boys and what?
so
Inside
you-
Out too.
Yeah, you get
What
I
is
saw.
that?
I have no idea.
it's
I
a
saw it
cartoon
today.
for kids.
Oh
like,
yeah.
you
Okay.
get your choice. Like you want to go watch something rated R, or you gonna go watch something for
PG.
Yeah, like,
Okay, I like it. That's a good dynamic, though.
yeah.
You know.
But they
Family.
also got the new Twister movie coming out.
Well, we got family or boobies.
Exactly.
So when I went to Disney World or Universal, whatever, the Twister shit, that was one of the craziest. Like, it wasn't a ride, but it was like an experience. You like
Right.
walk through this place and like a tornado comes through.
Oh,
and,
gosh.
Like, the wind's blowing and like you talk about the seats, like
Yeah.
you feel the wind and the dust and like you
Well-
get a little dirty when you're in there and like
Dude, I'm gonna
it
tell
was
you,
pretty crazy.
A tornado is no joke. I've been through one in Kansas City. That was no joke.
Oh, I've only been through like the elementary school tornado warnings where they
That
made us
was-
put our ass up and the principal.
I thought I
walked
was
through
going to be a
on some weird
badass
shit.
and stand out on the apartment balcony and be like, yeah, oh yeah, look, there it is off in the distance. And then as it started getting worse, I was like, man, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I'm going inside, under the bed.
I watched trees just lay down right in front of me.
That one that just came through Nashville. I got a buddy that lives in Spring Hill, and like, he said it was
Yes,
it was really bad.
Yeah, they're devastating. They're probably the most.
His son's house got like fucked up because of it.
There are cars that get picked up and sat down like 20 miles away.
I think a tsunami is like the most like terrifying thing in the world.
I don't know, man. A volcano would probably be pretty terrifying too. But the fact is, how do you let a volcano kill you? It takes
That's exactly the same thing with tsunami, though.
Yeah, when you see the water going
It's
all
time
the
to
way
go.
out. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, but you still don't
why
get
is there
a lot
a
of
fit?
time to get out though.
You ain't
right?
got a lot of time, but like,
There's a
if
warning.
you've got enough time.
But with a tornado, it's like literally on you like that. You'll be watching it, and then the next thing, 30 seconds later, it's on you.
It's
I
like
can
with
see that
hurricanes,
because
bro.
it jumps, right?
Yeah,
It's
they
like-
can jump, and they're also there's winds up to 300 miles an hour in some of them.
Speaking of movies and tornadoes, I did watch the Iron Claw the other day about the Texas tornado.
Ooh,
Kerry Von
great
Erich,
movie.
you know.
A lot of people in the wrestling business have said, "Oh, I hate that movie. I can't believe it." Don't hate the movie if you're in the wrestling
movie was
business.
great.
The movie was great, but if you know the story already, there's nothing surprising about it.
Yeah.
So, it's a very sad story. You got to look at it as this is a way to get our heritage and our
And I think
culture
the
out
way
to the public.
I think the way the movie shot, like it's long, drawn out, sad,
Yep.
dramatic, boring almost.
Yeah.
But you need everything to
Yes.
really feel it at the end to
Zac
feel how
Efron-
sad it was.
Zac
bro.
Efron crushed it.
He
I don't
did.
care.
He did.
He really
What's the
crushed
dude who
it.
played Willy Wonka? The other dude in the movie. I don't know
Oh.
if he played Willy Wonka. I just pulled that shit out. The Jesse dude. Is
Yeah.
his name Jesse?
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't know the name.
Blonde-headed dude
Yeah.
who played
Carrie?
not Carrie. It was Carrie. No, Kevin.
Kevin.
He played Kevin. Yeah.
No, Kevin was.
No.
Oh God.
One of the brothers.
Yeah.
Right. And shout out to MJF, little cameo.
Even though
you know?
for 10 seconds.
It doesn't matter.
You know who put all the wrestling sequences together in that, right?
Uh,
Chavo Guerrero.
I did know that actually. Now that you say that, I know
Chavo Guerrero Jr., not Senior.
Dude, not to talk
Chavito.
wrestling before we get back on the actually, I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna get right into Jay Lethal. Did you ever watch Lucha Underground?
A little bit.
Dude, I fucking love that shit.
Yes, man. Back in the
It
day,
was so
yes.
weird and crazy
Yes,
and different.
yes.
And like Johnny Nitro was showing up, and Rey Mysterio.
And then you had
showed
like,
up, and
then you had like the girls were called like
Swerve was there.
Sexy Star and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Was there.
bro.
Yeah.
Swerve was there.
Who was that one?
Thunder Rosa was
Yes.
there.
Who was the one that got mad and broke the girl's arm in the ring at Lucha Underground?
Who was that? Del Rio? It
No,
wasn't Del
I
Rio.
was going to say
No,
Del
no.
Rio was one of the
That was
guys.
El
No.
Patron.
This
It was
was
El
a,
Patron
no.
at
This
the
was
time.
this was a female wrestler who got pissed off and shot on the girl and snapped her arm.
Oh shit, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go look.
Yeah,
that one up.
If I'm not mistaken, that's how that went.
But that was Lucha Underground was pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
dude,
crazy.
I loved it when it was on Netflix.
It wasn't on Netflix.
Yeah, it was on Netflix. They put like 2 or 3 seasons on Netflix.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
that. I was
Yeah.
watching it on like
A&E or whatever.
Segundo or whatever it
Oh,
came
shit.
on. Yeah, like the Spanish channel.
I
Like
never
it,
got that.
it was fire. I think it was like, you know, when Charter was good and worth a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Back
you
when
got what you
everything was
paid
good and
for.
worth a fuck. Yeah.
But anyway, man, before we get out of here, let's talk about this week, man. Spotlight Scotty Brooks, Jay Lethal, man.
Well, it's going to be an honor. I mean, for the first time, I'm not having to go up against one of the TNA legends. I've got him in my corner.
That's fucking incredible.
How did that
man.
come
Like,
about?
Well, the place that's sponsoring the event requested that Jay Lethal work me, but Jay has certain stipulations in his contract that I don't want to go into on the podcast. So we had to turn around and make it work, and so that's what we did. We said instead of 1-on-1, let's have him tag, and
it's still just.
I mean, but-
having him down here is fucking awesome.
I mean, it's
dude.
Jay
Like,
Lethal. You're talking about the guy that retired Ric Flair.
who
you know?
cut the best promo against Ric Flair? Come on, man.
I don't know. The old Yeller promo with Shawn Michaels.
That was great. That was great.
I'm
That was
just,
great.
I got to go there.
But the woo off, bro.
Oh,
the
gosh.
woo off was
That-
no
that might
one
be one of
does
the most-
Ric Flair like Ric Flair.
Well, and
but
you wanna
number
co-
2 is Jay Lethal.
Well, who can forget Black Machismo?
Come on, man.
You know,
Macho Man.
and then
come
on top of that, who can forget? Flair at the time was doing the Fortune gimmick that had AJ Styles and
Kazarian.
and James Storm and Bobby
Oh,
Roode.
Desmond Wolfe.
Yes,
bro,
all
come
those
on.
guys. I mean, come on. That was, you're talking about that's when wrestling, it was on a downside with not as many people watching it. But I feel like the matches in the Ruthless Aggression era were some of the best.
So let me tell you,
not
this.
just on the WWE side, but on the TNA side.
I think I mentioned this on last time you were here, but I remember specifically staying with my grandma on Wednesday or Thursday nights.
Yeah.
I can't remember which day it came on, but when TNA would come on,
Yep.
because I could
It's
watch.
on Thursdays.
I
Yep.
could watch. It was on Spike TV
And then they moved it to Mondays to go up against Monday Night Raw.
when
to
Hogan
recreate-
got
yeah.
there. But fuck Hulk Hogan. Anyway,
Thank you.
Anyway, I remember staying and watch just so I could watch TNA.
Oh, yeah.
And Jay Lethal and AJ Styles. And,
Oh, man.
And I loved Suicide at the time. Speaking of Luke, like I seen him work Suicide, like
Yeah.
one of them things. Like that was cool. Like
Suicide at the time was actually played by Kazarian.
yeah, and
And
Christopher
Christopher
Daniels,
Daniels
right?
started the gimmick.
But-
And I'll never forget him telling me, that match or that gimmick took so many years off his career.
Oh, I believe it.
Because he was having to do so much crazy stuff.
Oh yeah,
that he
I
didn't
remember
want to
the
do.
video game, the TNA video game, how they brought him in, like storyline. It was part of
Yeah.
the video. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Talk about Mark Nerd, bro. That's me. Anyway, like
But-
I remember staying at my grandma's house specifically for it, so I could watch Jay Lethal wrestle, dude. Like
Yeah, I'm down. I mean, I remember sitting up. I would specifically. That was also when the Ultimate Fighter would come on at 8:00.
right.
So I'd watch
Come
8:00
on,
to 9:00, and then I had a good friend of mine that I was watching all the time on TNA Impact at the time, who would later go on. He started as Phil Shatter, would later go on to become Gunner.
Gunner. Okay.
And he's from Hickory.
Yeah. Okay.
So, seeing him and wrestling on a lot of shows with him, and then him coming back telling us about the TNA experience in our locker room, and he was a fixture in our locker room while he's on TNA.
dude,
I don't
know why I thought about this, and if I have to cut it because it's fucked up, I will. You make this call. But I remember watching Zema Ion, who is in LWO with on SmackDown. I forget Joe Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
I remember when he did the moonsault and the knee drop and hit the Jesse Sorensen kid.
Oh God, yeah, that was so
head.
bad. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro, that was insane. That was crazy, and it messed him up like bad, bro. It was like a terrible spot.
You go back and watch, but TNA Impact at that time was putting on some of the best matches.
Some of the greatest, bro.
You had
Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, bro.
You had, and then you had Kurt Angle came over there in that time.
Oh my God,
it was the ring that done it for me.
Well, then you had Christian came over.
Christian and Tom Cole was fucking great. Dude.
Now, what about even Sting?
Sting, bro.
Sting
never went to WWE until after TNA.
Yeah, I mean, did some phenomenal work in TNA.
I love Abyss.
Yes,
Eric Young.
Yes,
my favorite move in wrestling, the Canadian Destroyer, bro.
Petey Williams.
You know who the first person I seen do it was? Petey fucking Williams.
Petey Williams. I think he invented
Little Papa Pump.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Everyone
want to talk about the Stoner Math promo. Everyone forget about Petey. Petey's right there.
I love Petey.
Holla if you hear me.
Yeah, Petey told a story one time talking about Scotty, Scott Steiner's going down the road saying, Scott's just so intense. He's like, where's the gym? I got to get a pump in.
Dude, I believe
Scott, what are you doing? We're going 100 miles an hour into a T intersection. Stop.
That's insane.
I need to eat some chicken.
Dude, he was so big. His bicep was insane.
Yeah, I swear to God, I think that was implanted.
I wouldn't,
I swear.
I wouldn't not believe it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something off cast after about someone in his family too. But anyway, Jay Lethal, June 22nd, this Saturday, right?
Yep, 3 o'clock at the spot.
Yep. 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's this Saturday.
Oh shit.
3 o'clock. You gonna be off work?
Yeah.
All right, we're in there. I gotta figure it out. I'm calling into work on Saturday. Just know for Jay Lethal, I will do that.
Well, I mean, it's Jay Lethal.
I gotta be there.
Doesn't the whole thing start at like 1 o'clock?
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. We got a pre-show starting at 3, and then we'll probably be done by 7.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to get in and out. I mean, I don't want to cook and get sunburnt and all that crazy stuff.
We hitting the jacks again, bro? Maybe.
I'm down.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Dude, those fucking French fries.
I mean, kickback jacks would be great. Might see if Jay wants to join us this time.
Hey, maybe you can holler at us this time. Scotty,
let us know you're walking in this time.
Yeah, shit. Spencer literally moved half the fucking restaurant. He's like, yeah, we need this table, bro. Pull them up just in case. No one showed up. It was just us.
We were there.
We should. But the best part about that, there was like a table.
Next time,
of 12.
sit on the outside.
Well, see, here's the thing. There was like a table of 12 that showed up.
Yeah.
And they had to put them somewhere completely away from us because we moved so much shit.
Next time, just remember, I should have told you guys this, but I always go to the outside bar.
We'll figure it out, man. We'll put this so no one else finds us. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I got you. But
anyway,
I mean,
man.
let's talk about Jay Lethal for a second. Let's talk about how great that man is and how it's an opportunity to learn, to sit at the learning tree again and gain knowledge. For every second that I was in the ring with Frankie Kazarian, and even though I came out victorious, I learned how to push myself past limits that most people would not know how. You got to dig down. You got to dig deep.
Now, with all due respect,
you don't have a choice.
That's exactly right.
With all due respect, I am biased towards you against Frankie Kazarian. So, with all due respect, I don't mean this in no disrespectful way, but it's a different level with Jay Lethal to me.
No, it really is. I mean, Jay,
especially when you're on the same team.
Yeah,
bro, you're talking about the Queen of TNA.
We was, but all due respect, like I said, all due respect.
I think I would honestly say they're if they're not on the same level, it's very close, but it's different types, different style. I mean, Jay, let's go ahead and talk about it. The lethal injection is one of the greatest finishers in wrestling.
One of the best moves.
I absolutely love it. I wish I could do it. Hey. I can't do it. I would kill myself trying to do that. And I just think that's freaking amazing to be able to do that. Then on top of that, the stuff that he can do, his psychology in the ring is second to none.
The way
he carries himself, every move.
again, this is where
something.
I have trouble like talking about wrestling, being a fan and a mark
Right.
at the same time, bro.
Right.
The way he sells, the way he works.
Yes, it's
everything. The facials, bro. Everything about it, bro. Is just.
It's gonna be so much fun to sit there.
He's a legend, bro.
Yeah.
Like, bottom line, he's a fucking
Absolutely.
legend, bro.
Absolutely.
And it's like I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I know how it is. Like I'm excited for you to get that experience, bro. Like to be beside him, learn, to be with him, bro. And I mean, fisticuffs. Come on, zero shot. I you know.
I mean, you know, let's be honest. They are the number one contenders for the tag belts.
Yes, but
they earned that. Let's be honest. They
did.
They won in the middle of the ring, but you know, you're stepping into a whole different level when you step up there with myself and Lethal.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
You know, you're stepping into rare air whenever you step in that.
I think there's more pressure on you guys to perform
Yes.
than there is for them to win.
Yes, absolutely. I would.
If that makes sense.
I would absolutely.
Like,
you know, we got to come in there. Me and Lethal have to tear the house down. We have to be. Everything has to be money. You know, ready to go. You know, we've talked a little bit. We've got a bit of a game plan about how we're going to try to let the match play out. You know, we've got some ideas, and you know, I'm sure Fisticuffs is over there. You know, Mike McRae and Brett West. I'd say they're sitting there they're trying to come up with some ways they think they can stop me. Or
again,
but there's a reason that I am the Ring of Fire.
Here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do right now, Jamie. Appreciate you for showing up, man. You know I love you every time. Spotlight, Scotty Brooks.
Always, brother.
But again, this last 30, 45 seconds, man, I just want you to, you know, again, cameras right here. Let's switch. Here.
All right.
How about this? Let me switch. Middle of the camera. That camera's for you right there, man. You tell Fisticuffs just what. Ah, damn, my hair got caught. Fuck. Anyway, you tell Fisticuffs what you and Jay Lethal about to do to him Saturday night, June 22nd, man.
Fisticuffs, I don't envy what you're about to go through. I'm going to tell you a little quote from Rocky III, arguably the greatest Rocky movie out there. My prediction for you on Saturday, June 22nd, in the main event with myself and Jay Lethal is one word, and that word is pain. You guys are hella competitors. You guys can tear the house down with any of them. You beat the best tag team, in my opinion, in the Carolinas last time at Champions of Fire. You beat Whiskey Business. But you're stepping into rarefied air with myself and Jay Lethal. I'm on the hottest streak in the Carolinas. I'm probably on one of the hottest streaks in all of independent wrestling. You guys, my friends. Actually, I don't even want to call you my friends because there you're going to be my foes. You guys are definitely going to be down for what I would like to call the 3-second tan. 1, 2, 3, lethal injection, GTS. Lights out, time to go to sleep.
And I can't wait to be there and cheer for it.
And only one other thing I got to say. I only see spotlights, and spotlights only see me.
Ooh-wee.